It's the It's My Time podcast with Asher Tchoua.
How's your week?
My week has been going well. How about yours?
It's been going well as well. It's funny from the time that we talked to reschedule, but even before then, like I felt different pains in my feet, and like every time I'm like, oh, I might need to ask Demetria for like either a link to this or just be like, hey, what do I do in this case?
Okay. Yeah, just make sure if you're doing a lot of walking and or if you do some running and you mix it up, make sure you give yourself a foot soak. Soak your feet for like 30 minutes. You can also add some Epsom salt in there as well. Yeah, that
Gotcha.
helps alleviate aches and pains.
Okay.
Yeah, and stimulate blood flow in your feet as well and loosen up those muscles
Gotcha.
with that warm water.
I may definitely need to get some Epsom salt, but I noticed, like you mentioned before, we met last year, January, and
Yes.
you've been working on niching down being a massage doctor and really focusing on foot care. So
Yes.
I'll let you kind of lead into that, like how you got here and how you're helping people really deal with your feet since they take care of you all the time. And it's like you don't think about it until they start to ache and you're like, oh, feet kind of hurt right now.
Right. Well, my name is Demetria Davenport, better known as the massage doctor. I am a licensed massage therapist. I've been a massage therapist since about 2007, but I actually started massage therapy late 2002, going into 2003. Here in Michigan, massage therapy really became really popular. So the state made it where you had to have first you had to have a certificate, then they made it where you had to be licensed. And then the people who already finished school, by the time they run it into law, they just grandfather everybody in. Yeah. And then with foot care, how I came into being obsessed with feet, I suffered from plantar fasciitis. So I had severe pain in my feet. I would go to the podiatrist. He would assess me, see what was going on with my feet. I let him know what was going on. I did a few cortisone shots. After a couple of days, that wasn't working, and I didn't want to keep doing the cortisone shots because they're not good for you because they don't dissolve into your system. They just crystallize wherever the injection is at. It crystallizes in that spot. So he did some taping things on me as well, and I was seeing him for a while, and then one day he just said there's nothing else he could do for him. He was sending me back to work. At that time, I was working at Chrysler and still running my business. And I was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I said, I'm going to find somebody who's going to help me find out what's going on with my foot, because I kept telling him I had this pain in my foot. I had this plucking sensation in my foot. And when I told him about the plucking sensation in the arch of my foot where my plantar fascia was, he was telling me every time I took a step, I was tearing my fascia tendon or whatever. And so that's why I had that plucking feeling in the bottom of my foot, in my palm of my foot. And also I literally had to tell myself to pick my foot up, because every time I would take a step when I walked, because my plantar fascia was in my right foot. So every time I took a step, I had to tell myself, pick up your right foot. Because one day I was walking, I had on some sandals, and my toes just scraped the ground. I was like, what in the tarnations just happened? And when I took another step, it happened again. So I had to mentally tell myself, take a step, lift your foot up every time you take a step.
Right.
So from there, I told him, no, you're not sending me back to work. He's recommended me to a specialist in his office, Dr. Repertoire. I love him because he was the only one that really listened to me. He wasn't one of those doctors that was, okay, you got a foot problem, let's cut on you and operate. And if it worked, it may work, it may not work. But that's a 50-50 chance when you're doing any kind of surgery or any kind of treatment plan. 50% it may work and it may not work. So I was letting him know some things that was going on with my foot. and that my calf was tight, my hips were hurting, my knee was hurting, my knees started hurting. And then I know just being a massage therapist, when you have something going on either side of the body. So for me, I was having problems with my foot. So that threw my gait off. When you take a step, it threw my gait off. Also, I had the problem with my foot. So it made my ankle hurt, my knee hurt, and it just shifted all that, my body weight to the left side of my body. And it caused my left hip to hurt. And I was like, what the heck is going on? So me being a massage therapist, I did do some things. I did the ice rolling, the massaging of my foot manually, massaging my foot manually. I used some other little tools for my foot as well, and also for my calf, because my calf was really tight. And he listened to me, and he the only thing that worked for me at that time was shockwave therapy, because my plantar fasciitis was so bad, because I kept working. I kept working. I kept going on about my daily activities and just pushing through the pain. And the shockwave therapy was the only thing that helped me, because I kept going on about life, you know, with my daily activities. And it just made my my foot worse. It made my plantar fasciitis even worse. So that helped me. And then it was a real intense shockwave therapy that he had to do on me, because they had to numb my foot in six different spots or whatever, because that's how intense the shockwave therapy was or whatever. It was this big, huge machine that this guy brought in. Kind of reminded me of an overhead projector. Back in the day, I'm telling my age.
I know what overhead projectors are.
All right, but some people don't. So it was like an overhead projector, and this little rubber thing came out like a little honeycomb, and it had this little fluid in there. And so they took it and they placed it over my foot, and it did pulsating shocks to my foot or whatever, and that helped. And so from there, that's what got me more involved with foot care, because the current doctor, podiatrist, it was just like, put a Band-Aid on it. Okay, I done everything I could do. I'm sending you back to work. And I was like, no. So I know I'm not the only person who has had a physician tell them that. I'm telling you something's not right. But you just want to just tell me, go on about your business. I took a few anti-inflammatories, Flexerol he gave me. Once I found out that wasn't working, it took me long to figure out that wasn't working. I just stopped taking it or whatever. So that's what got me into foot care. Got interested in foot care because nobody's addressing that. And they're just treating the symptom and not trying to find out what was the cause of my symptom. Yeah.
That's big, because I think to your point, it makes sense that you, like, something as common as feet, you would think like a podiatrist is supposed to be a foot doctor, but with them, at least the specific one, not being able to address the underlying cause and just being like, okay, let's numb it up with cortisone shots, or let's do this. It's like, thankfully he referenced you out to the specialist, but that would have only that wouldn't have happened if you wouldn't have pushed back to say, oh no, you're not just sending me back to work, just like figure it out, because it's like, we've come this far. So it's like, really?
Right, correct. And I wasn't as nice as I was as I'm talking to you. You know, I wasn't as nice, so I was just like, okay, but he got the point.
Gotcha.
I got my point across.
And can you kind of describe exactly what plantar fasciitis is? Because I have an idea of what it is, but I think you explaining it would be, it'd make it more clear.
Okay, well, plantar fasciitis, you have I'm gonna use my hand as if it's my foot. So when you your plantar fascia is here in the palm, it'd be here in the palm of your foot, and it attaches at your Achilles tendon here. It starts here, then it spreads out in between your toes just a little bit, but it's a little band of tendon that's right here. And then once that gets inflamed, also come with heel spur. I call them twins. With plantar fasciitis, you get a heel spur. I call them twins, because if you have plantar fasciitis, you have a heel spur. So the heel spur can be anywhere on the heel of your foot, and if you just touch it the wrong way, it's like like a cat. You just, you know, and like I said, it'll get a little tear in it as well. Some tears are more severe than others, and when it gets aggravated, it swells. It's hard for you to walk. When you take those first few steps in the morning, it's hard for you to put your foot down. You have to like walk on the ball of your foot for a minute, and then as you're walking and warming it up, you're able to place your foot down on the floor. Also, when you have plantar fasciitis, if you sit for long periods of time, like an hour or so, whatever, when you get up, then it's like getting up out of the bed again. You have to walk on your toes, and that joint warms up, and then you can proceed on walking.
So I guess since you saw the specialist, you got into foot care more heavily, being a massage therapist. Like, what have you found to be very effective on a day-to-day basis for managing the stress on the feet?
If you work on your feet a lot, or if you exercise, make sure, and you have plantar fasciitis, make sure that you soak your feet. Do a foot soak if you can, once a night, every night, or at least 3 times out of the week. Daily, do some daily exercises, warm your foot up before you get out of the bed. There's certain exercises that you can do to warm your feet up. That's loosening up those joints, loosening up those tendons and those joints in your feet, and stimulating blood flow to your feet. Because a lot of people don't know, in your lower extremities, you don't get a lot of blood flow, especially as we age. You don't get a lot of blood flow in your lower extremities. So you want to make sure that you're doing some exercises before you get out of bed and warm those joints up, those tendons and ligaments and those muscles in your feet up before you take those first few steps when you get out of bed. Gotcha. So, and you can also do some stretching too, where you can take your foot and place up against the baseboard of the wall, and that'll help stretch out your fascia tendon and also stretch out your calf muscle as well. Yeah, because when that fascia tendon is tight, it pulls on that calf muscle, and then it just makes it's pulling on everything else because of that kinetic chain, because everything is linked together.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess, like you mentioned, the lack of blood flow in the lower extremities, is that from a lot of sitting, or that's just as you age naturally?
As you age, you just get limited blood flow to your lower extremities. Yeah.
And with your toes being the lowest of the low, or your feet.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Just think about it. When people, pregnant women or people who ankles start to swell because they're working on their feet, that job required them to stand for long periods of time, what do people say? You know, raise your legs up, prop your feet up so that swelling can go down. Yep.
That makes sense.
Can go down. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And stimulate blood flow.
I was just thinking to myself, I remember running track and field in high school, and one thing that we would do a lot of times after a race or after a workout is what we call batteries, where essentially, since you have so much blood, I think going to your legs, you would basically lay on your back and put your legs up against the fence like 2 batteries, and you basically let, like, I guess the blood
flow. Because what you're doing, you're letting the blood flow is circulating back down to your heart.
Right.
And it's circulating blood back to your heart. Also, that helps with your digestive system as well. Yeah, when you do that. Yeah. Even if you do that for 20 minutes a day, that's a good thing to do as well. Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. So what, catch me back up. What's 2021 been like so far? I know we're at the halfway point now, and before we know it, the end of the year is right around the corner.
Exactly. 2021 has been, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot of businesses close down. Every day I go past somewhere, I just see different industry, different businesses closing down. And I'm just grateful that I am able to still operate my business, and that my clients are still coming to me for their routine massage maintenance. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I know for 2020 we talked about it briefly before, but going back through that, you walk me through again, like what was that experience for you in 2020 with things shutting down? I think you had to transition from the massage over back into the pharmaceutical industry, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I end up going back into the medical field.
Medical.
Yeah,
Okay.
I ended up going back into the medical field, and everybody that was in my industry, I know a lot of massage therapists, they had to go get a job because we couldn't touch anybody. And that's the basis of our business, servicing. If we can't touch you, we can't service you. So it just shut us down. Some people went and got a job. Some people never returned back and opened up their practice. Some people are still working a job and reopen up their business, but we have some people have different days and limited hours that they're open. For myself, I'm only open on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Okay.
Yeah, I just did limited hours.
Got you.
So it was a transition. It was hard going back to work for somebody. I had to have a talk with myself. Myself had to have a talk with me. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And I was like, okay, as time went by, I'm like, myself said, what you gonna do, sister? You better do something. So I had to talk myself into going back, to get a job, which was responsible. I had to do something because at that time you couldn't do anything. And it's here in Michigan, you had some people that were barbers, and some of those people got fined for still operating their business. Right. Yep. So I was just like, okay. So yeah, it was challenging. It was challenging in a sense, like I said, once you've been working for yourself for so long, you can do vacations without putting in vacation time and asking for permission to go on vacation. Right. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, I can't go. Can you imagine being on your own for so long and then somebody tell you can't go on vacation? Right. And they're like, are you crazy? Yeah, but I'm grateful that I was able to enter back into my pharmaceutical field, back at the pharmaceutical company. So I was grateful for that. And just think that the work, just going back into the workforce, that culture is different. Yeah. It's different. It's not the same when I was back in the day, some years ago. It's totally changed or whatever. But that's some of the things I had to do moving forward during the pandemic last year. I went back out into the workforce. That's what I did. Yep. And then once they started lifting the restrictions here, that was back late June. That's when I reopened up. Gotcha. That's when I reopened up with limited days and hours. And then my clients started slowly coming back. But now a lot of people are more comfortable with coming back and they've gotten vaccinated. I've had a lot more of my clients return. Gotcha. Yeah. So I'm grateful for that. Yeah. Also during the pandemic, I had a lot of my clients reach out to me. I was keeping them informed on what was going on, emailing them and texting them as well, letting them know what was going on. And they were calling, checking on me. And I was like, wow, that's so nice. Yes, I was thankful and grateful for that. They were calling and checking on me as well. That's good. I mean, I guess that speaks to the quality of people you've been able to attract. Not only to just be like, okay, hey, I'm here for the service, and then I'll see you next time at the next appointment, but actually reaching out to you and wanting to know about your well-being. Yeah. So I was thankful and grateful that they were checking in on me as well. Yeah. Awesome. So I guess now, are you having to balance with being still in the medical field and working part-time, or are you back exclusively just doing the massage? I'm still doing both for right now. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I'm still doing both right now because, oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I don't know if they're going to do another shutdown.
Right.
So I'm just kind of like using it as a safety net, but still moving forward in my business, if that makes
Right.
sense.
That makes sense. You're being wise about it. You're not just gonna be like, okay, well, it's back, and then it's best not to leave yourself up to someone else's mercy, so to speak.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And then also I just lost my thought. Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out what this fall is going to bring, because now I know some states are mandating mandatory mask again or whatever. I just never took mine off, even when they lifted it. I was just like, nope, let me just keep it on when I go in somewhere. If I'm with a crowd of people, let me make sure I still have my mask on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I know earlier you mentioned just how is it, the culture working with other people is much different now than before. I guess how long ago had it been since you had to work in that space, and what would you say are some of the main things that you see are just like very different?
Oh God, that was like I was going from the pharmaceutical company for about, when I started my business, about almost 14 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's just the culture is just different. It's every man for themselves. You know, it's like every man for themselves, and I don't know, just how can I say? Just basically everybody just out for themselves.
Gotcha.
You know, I'm just used to, when I was in the workforce, working with a culture that, you know, everybody helped each other. Right. You know, you kind of look out for each other, you help each other, whatever, but it's just changed. Now, just, it's not just where I'm at. I'm hearing that from a lot of people who work in a lot of different industries now. You know what I'm saying? It's just different. Right. It's just, the culture is just totally different. You know? Gotcha. Now, some people have, some companies they work at, they have a good culture. You know, and that's a good thing. You know, but it's just different. You know, you got these millennials or whatever you want to call them, but you know, it's just different. Right. You know, nobody want to talk to you. It's like, email me. And I'm like, but you right here. I'm like, okay, got it. Right. Man. So I'm like, okay. Or you tell them, so they're like, well, just email it anyway, because I'm probably not gonna remember. Right. So just email it to me. I'm like, okay, got you. Right. Yeah. So it's just different. I'm like, got you. I'm like, wow, they more technical, more techie. That's the word I want to use. They're more techie. Or whatever. Yeah. Got you. They're more techie. I might be guilty of that. Okay. Because I know what is it? It seems like, I mean, maybe seems and it is to some degree, where like a lot of things are constantly pulling for your attention. So I remember even telling my younger brother, I was just like, hey, just whatever you want to tell me, just like text you, huh? I mean, no, it's like, yeah, I was like, either text me or like send it to me in somewhere written. Either if you like write it down, take a picture of it, something, so that it's like, so that we have a record of it. Because I'm like, either, and when he said it back to me, I was like, that sounds, when you tell me what I tell you, it almost sounds like, okay, maybe I just need to do a better job of like paying attention, or just being like, okay, like there's another way to do this. There's a simple way. But I guess it's much different talking one-on-one versus like, okay, if it's business or, hey, can you do this? It's like, sure, like at least being able to even talk like this, talk to somebody, right? It's worthwhile, because at least you pick up on people's nuances and like things that are just written down. It may not come across like the tone in which they're saying it, or like, right, what did you mean by that? And it's like, you'll figure it out. It's like,
you just talk to me for 2 minutes, we could figure this out rather than having like a 15-minute back and forth text thread or something like that, or
Right.
emails over like several days.
Yeah. But yeah, so people don't know the importance of foot care. You know, that's the last thing people think about until, like you said, until something goes wrong, or they keep pushing through it, and then it's like, oh, I'm going to check on that, and then before they know it, it's then escalated to something totally more severe or whatever. Now then they want to go to the doctor when it's like, oh, that hurts now for real. Yeah, ouch, that hurts. So that's when people want to go and check out their feet. But people, even if you don't have any foot issues, it's good to at least go to the chiropractor. I mean, not the chiropractor, but the podiatrist at least once a year. If you go once a year or twice a year, at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year, then you like, okay, my feet are good. I had them checked during the beginning and I had them checked again at the end of the year. So you'll know if something's going on with your foot, because if you have certain foot diseases, you wouldn't know. The podiatrist would know. Right. You know, they can certain things they can do, look at the skin around your toes. Also, they can look at your nails as well too. You know, so there's certain things they can tell by looking at your feet. Also, when you go to the podiatrist, they'll also check your pulse on your feet, because you have an artery that's in your feet, and they check that to make sure that you have good blood flow coming to your feet. Right. Yeah, they'll do that as well too. Yeah.
It's like so many things. It's like I so many things I wouldn't know. But to your point, it's like the few times I've been to a podiatrist was, I think, 2018, around that time, and it's, of course, I went because my feet were hurting, and obviously from working in construction, having a background where it's like you walk around a lot, several miles, wearing steel-toed shoes and things like that. It wasn't until talking with one of the guys like, hey, like my feet have been hurting. Somebody's like, oh, go see a podiatrist, get the molded insoles, and that will help greatly. And it's like, oh wow, okay, that makes a significant difference. Like having your feet looked at,
extra support in your underneath your foot, inside your shoe, because it gives you that arch support, and also it gives you that heel support at the same time. At the same time, so they'll your insoles or your inserts are very important too, and you want to make sure when you're getting your special made, because you had special made orthotics, and that's where they take and they make a mold of your foot or whatever they do, and then they customize it to your feet. That's what they do. And then you have the over-the-counter ones that you can buy, but you have to be careful which over-the-counter insoles that you buy. Because you want something that's going to help cushion and protect your feet. So if you're having heel pain, you won't get the full insole unless you want to. It wouldn't hurt, but if you don't want to get the full insole, you can get the half the insole. They call that heel seats. Sometimes some people call them heel seats, and that's just covering. Use my hand again as a foot. It's going to cover from here, the middle of your foot, to the back of your foot. Especially if you're having some kind of heel pain around your foot on the edges or on the middle of your heel, it's going to take, and it's going to help cushion that and even that pressure out on your foot and take away that heel pain. That's what it's going to do. And then when you get the inserts, those inserts, they'll give you that cushion as well underneath your heel. And then also it'll give you underneath your arch, it give you that arch support as well.
Gotcha. Oh, I remember. Yeah, you were telling me about that. Because you were going to send me a link for the ones that help you out. Because it's like one of the things that you made as a big point was that you had gotten the custom made orthotics, but then after a while, it's like those worked for so long until you got to get them replaced. But then you were able to find something that worked more effectively, being a heel seat, because what is it, like the ones that you might get at Walmart or like Dr. Scholl's and those, I think it's different for everyone, but it seems like the cushioning that you need, at least from the orthotic, it seems like it's not the cushion that I have. It's like it's stiff, even though it's got some spring in it, but it's not
Right.
like completely rubber like Air Max tennis shoes would be.
Right. Correct.
Is there a reason for that? I guess you need like firmness for your feet versus just like this putty that your foot would sit in.
Because see, those were custom made for
Right.
your 1,000 are custom made, so they make a mold out of your foot. They
Right,
take a
right.
mold of your foot and make your orthotic custom made to you. So that's why they're hard like that. And
Gotcha.
then the other ones, like over counter, you know, you're just making them out of some cushion. Now,
Right,
also, you don't want them too jelly. You don't want them too hard neither. You want something that's going to have a little cushion, it's going to have a little bounce back.
Gotcha.
Because the tricky thing with plantar fasciitis, during all the things my podiatrist, not the specialist, but my podiatrist was doing, I was in a cam walker. That's that thing you see everybody walking around with, that little boot. They call it a boot, but actually it's a cam walker because you got to walk from heel to toe because it has that rocker motion in it.
Right.
I did that. I got casted up a couple of times or whatever, but I wasn't on my foot, so it gave me some relief, gave my plantar fascia some relief. But then once I went back to my daily activities, it came right back. And what my plantar fasciitis, I don't know if anybody else have ever experienced this, but every time I did something, switched it up, and I tricked that plantar fascia, it was like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, okay. I got some relief now. Soon as I got used to being in that cam walker, and I was in the cam walker for a while, for months, and it gave me so much relief. But once my foot was like, oh, you tricked me? Okay, boom, that pain came back just as fierce as before, or whatever. So every time I switched up my shoes, my footwear, anything they gave me, it worked for a while, and then my foot said, nope. I was forever buying shoes. I'm a big shoe freak.
Right.
You know, I'm always looking at shoes with comfort, arch support, heel support. Anything's gonna support my feet as well. And then also, when you recover from plantar fasciitis, you don't want to do anything to aggravate it. Like I was doing a step workout here at home or whatever. I was like, okay, I did this is for beginner, steps for beginner.
Right.
I did that. It worked for a while. Going into that second week, because I was doing the stepping on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I did it 3 days a week. And going into that second week, after that second week, my right foot said, okay, all right, you asking for it. And I was just like, got it. I was like, well, can't do that. So I have to, and people who have had severe plantar fasciitis, you have to be careful on what kind of activities you're doing, because you don't want to do anything to aggravate it and make it flare up again.
Right.
It's like I said, it gets inflamed. It makes your foot swell, and it's just painful. It's just nasty. It's just nasty. So yeah, every time I did something different treatment or whatever, it will act okay, and then it get used to, like, you know, I got you tricked me, so I'm gonna make you pay for it. The pain is gonna be worse. I also did physical therapy as well. I did that. That was okay. Actually, it really didn't work for me. Right. It didn't work for me. So I just told my doctor he don't have to send me back there because it wasn't working.
Gotcha.
Nope, it wasn't working. But you have to be careful if you're suffering from plantar fasciitis, especially if it's been severe and chronic. You want to be mindful of what kind of activities that you do, because you don't want to do anything to aggravate it and make it flare back up.
Gotcha.
No.
Over what period of time did the was plantar fasciitis an issue for you?
I was 2 years. It took me 2 years to recover.
Gotcha.
Even with my treatments or whatever, it took me 2 years to finally recover from that.
Right.
Yeah. Now, if it's not as bad, it could take like 6 months for you to recover. But like I said, when it's real severe, it can take up to 24 months for you to fully recover from plantar fasciitis when it's really bad.
Gotcha.
We have a real bad case of it.
So I guess is plantar fasciitis the main issue people come to you for, or a lot of concerns that people bring to you?
Yes, they come to me about plantar fasciitis. And also, like I said, too, that your calf muscle, because your Achilles tendon is attached, it starts there.
Right.
They come to me for plantar fasciitis. So when they come to me, I work on not just their foot, I work on their calf as well. Because all that's connected. Because a lot of people don't know. Everybody think that your Achilles tendon is stopped at your ankle right here. You know, that's it. No, your Achilles tendon, let's say it's the back of your ankle here. You know, little, they think it stops here. Actually, Achilles tendon go all the way up into your calf muscle. And then it's a band, it's a thick band. And then once it goes down towards your foot, it narrows out. Yeah. Right. So I worked that together because that's the issues I was having. And, you know, like I said, my doctor was like, oh, okay. I'm like, no. I'm like, I know this has got something to do with each other because everything is connected together. So, yeah. And then also, I have people who come to me just because they stand a lot on their jobs and they're working on hard surface, standing on concrete, actually, or they're construction workers or whatever. I have people who come in to me with their legs are achy, so they have achy legs. So I do a massage on their legs as well. And when I do a leg massage, I incorporate the foot with that as well. If I just have them come dressed in something comfortable, have some shorts on, so I can massage their legs really good.
Gotcha.
And do some other stuff, treatment as well.
Maybe that's what some of those millennials need. It's just like, hey, get your feet right. Maybe get your attitude right.
Right. They have achy feet.
Yeah. But I also I like what you've been doing with your social media, because in like putting out the shorts on like IG and YouTube, like I remember you shared a video with me, and I was able to go back to some of the ones you put out before. They're like quick and to the point, where it's like, okay, here are exercises that you can do. I bought some of the nail things that you put in between your toes, because I was like, they didn't sell
separators.
toe separators. So, yeah, I went ahead and got those, and every now and then, like I was like, hey, I've got to make sure I do my stretches in the morning, do them at night. And the other thing I need to add in is just soak my feet. At least plan on doing that 3 times during the week. Like I'll do it tonight or tomorrow, and then I can do it Wednesday, and then I'll do it again later in the week. But that really came into handy, because I didn't realize how much like the toe separator would help in being able to just flex the toes front to back, like you were saying,
of those toes.
Just exposing like that tendon in the center, and even just getting the flexibility around it, because it's like, if it's not the Achilles, or if the base of the foot, it seems like even the knee, or just like you were saying, getting the muscles around those tendons to be strengthened really makes a big difference, and just making sure to nurse those things.
Because if you're, like I said, if you're having a foot issue, your ankle's going to bother you. If your ankle is bothering you, then it's going to go right on up to that knee, up to the hip, and then up to the lower back. So everything, like I said, that connect chain, everything is linked together. So if one is off, it's knocking everything off, and then your other side of your body is compensating that weight.
Gotcha.
You know, your body say, hey, something going on here. Let's shift this weight to the other side of the body, and then that you're overworking that side as well.
Right.
Just like when people have a hip surgery, their hips are bad, and then they end up having hip surgery. They have hip surgery on their left side, but then when they get done, because they didn't beard all that weight on the right side, then they have to go in later and have the right hip replaced, because all that weight has been shifted for years to that right side because they had a bad hip on their left. Yeah.
Do you think a lot of surgeries could be avoided from, I guess, going back and treating things from like the source, like starting with your feet, or like working your way up through like massage treatments, through like personal care on a day-to-day?
I think if people, if they did some things in the beginning before it got to the point where they needed surgery, it could be very beneficial. Now, it's different if they have some kind of joint disease or something like that. That's something totally different or whatever. Because you have some people that's young and they just have bad knees and they don't have that cushion in between their knees, and they have to have knee surgery. Actually, I know someone that's genetic in their family that by the time they reach their late 30s, early 40s, everybody has to have some kind of knee surgery. So that's something in their genetics, that they have bad knees.
Right.
The men and the women in their family, on their offsprings. Yeah. So it depends on certain things, but in the beginning, if you like my feet hurting or my leg is hurting, let me get something. Go to your primary care physician first and get checked out. Make sure it's nothing serious. And if it's not anything serious, go get some preventative care. Go get a massage. Go get a leg and foot massage, or get a whole body massage.
Right.
Because it's going to alleviate all that stress off of you.
Right.
Yeah.
How can people get in touch with you to either set up a massage, like get some of this information and be like, okay, here's, my feet have been hurting me. This has been bothering me. Like, who do I go to? How can I connect to someone in my area? How would they get in contact with you, or just view some of the things you're putting out as content and just practical things on a day-to-day?
Well, they can find me on Instagram, the Massage Doctor on Instagram, also the Massage Doctor on YouTube, and then also they can find me on Facebook, Demetria Davenport on my personal Facebook page, and then also my business Facebook page is Luxurious Essentials Massage Spa. And then they can email me at Demetria at LE Travel Spa. That's Demetria at LE Travel Spa. Or they can call or send me a text at 313-655-3860. That's how they can contact me if they have any questions, or like I said too, they can go on my YouTube channel and look at any videos that I have out on YouTube. I have quite a few hundred videos on YouTube, and then also a lot of things I learned too, because I had a couple of people reach out to me and they was telling me they noticed the difference when I first started doing my videos, how my videos have gotten better over time or whatever. And a lot of things I learned when we were in Miami at Nikki's Extreme Branding.
Right.
I took a lot of good things away from that, and I've been using that ever since.
Right.
Yep, I've been using it ever since, especially when I'm doing my videos, and then also putting out different content on foot care. That's something I want people to know about. I'm doing it for the people who out there, maybe some information that they can use. Not something I want to share out there because I like it, whatever. Somebody else may not like it. So I learned that from Nikki's event as well. So I've just been using a lot of that stuff and a lot of feedback when he broke us up in those groups. Yeah. And I got everybody feedback or whatever. That really stuck with me. So I've been using that ever since.
That's awesome. Yeah. I definitely want to compliment you on that, because I like I mentioned earlier, in checking out your IG and YouTube, I've seen that you're not only staying on topic, like just specifically talking about foot pain, ways to alleviate it, education of that, but also just being consistent in that. Because with the video where it was talking about the foot exercises using the foot separators, you'd made one video and some people had commented about like, hey, we can't see this or something like that. So you made an updated video. And people, again, they responded, they're just like, hey, okay, I got it, I can see this. And I was like, hey, okay, what do I do? I went ahead, I think I subscribed, and I went ahead and just bookmarked your channel to where I was like, okay, until I get the exercises down pat, I'll just watch the video, do it along with you, and then just follow the steps. Keep it simple.
Well, thank y'all. Thank you for following me, and I'm thankful that the information that I gave out, that it helped you. You know, so yeah, and I listened to my subscribers. I try to stay on top of that, try to respond back to them or whatever, because I'd be all over the place. I'd be doing everything or whatever. But when I do get time, even though I go back through my old videos and I see if somebody made a comment, I still try to go back and comment back with everybody.
Right.
You know, 'cause I think that's important, because I have reached out to some people on certain things on social media, different platforms, and they just don't get back with you. And I'm just looking like, wow, okay. So if I don't get back with anybody immediately, I will get back with them. It's not that I'm not ignoring them. I'm just,
you got life.
I'm just doing everything. I'm just doing everything. Yeah. I'm juggling two things at one time, running my business and working now. So yeah. Awesome. So I just ask people, if I haven't responded to you, I will. Please be patient with me. I'm not ignoring you, because I think that's very important. And people are personable. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's part of being an introvert. I don't know. You know.
I think it has something to do with being polite too, because you're kind of saying, just like being back at the work industry and just seeing like the way people interact. It's like you can be selfish at times, but when it comes to dealing with other people, it's good to acknowledge the people around you. And it's like, no matter what you may have going on, it's nice to even just be like, hey, like I acknowledge that you said something. I may not get to it now, but I will get back to you. And
because sometimes you'll get notifications through your certain platforms, and then sometimes, a lot of times, you don't get those notifications. I'm like, I didn't understand. I'm like, I didn't get that on my phone. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll leave it there for now. But as the year's wrapping up, or well, I'm feeling like it's wrapping up quick. Is there anything that you're looking forward to on the back half of the year?
I'm going to be implementing my foot sole program. So I just did some things, changed the room out today. I have to put the finishing touches on that. So I'll be doing a video on that as well. Also, I ordered some new equipment for that, because like I said, it's a lot of people who are dealing with foot issues, and nobody is addressing that.
Right.
Or whatever. Nobody is addressing that. Oh, also, I did get some accolades as well.
Oh, yeah.
And what is that? The Marquis Who's Who. That I have a Lifetime Achievement Award that I received as well. So I've received 4 different accreditations personally for myself, being an influencer in my industry as well, through Marquis Who's Who. And also my business has won Best Massage Therapy Company for 8 consecutive years.
Wow.
In the city of Southfield. So I have 8 awards. So I am grateful for that, and that's nothing but God. That's nothing but God. Just continue to with all the awards and accolades I've gotten this year and last year that's nothing but God just telling me to stay on my path, and I'm doing the right thing. Just stay going forward. So I'm thankful and grateful for that. Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations.
You never know. Thank you. Because you never know who's watching. And I tell people all the time, someone is always watching. You just never know who. And then also with those awards, people nominate you for those things, you know, and come into your place of business, and they're doing, I call them like secret shoppers. They come in and they say, you know, how was the customer service? You're getting graded on all that kind of stuff, and your professionalism and things like that, and on the service as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I guess has the award brought any notoriety or anything where people were like, oh, I heard of you through this, or is that more something that you can...
Actually, I've gotten a couple of clients off of Instagram.
Nice.
I have a couple of new clients that found me on Instagram, and they said they see my content I've been putting out, And then also my videos I put out on Instagram or Facebook as well, but on Instagram. And they said they've been following me, and they said they like what I put out in my videos, and they felt comfortable with coming to me because they said they knew I knew what I was talking about.
Right.
Yeah. That, I just wasn't saying some stuff or whatever, but that's what made them comfortable enough and reached out to me and wanted me to service them, to come into my place of business. Yeah. So awesome. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. Yeah. That people know that I'm mastering my niche in my craft, and that I am educated and I do know what I'm talking about.
Right. You're practicing what you're teaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I wish you the best of luck. Look forward to seeing how the year shakes out, and maybe I'll make a trip up that way, but I know we'll be seeing each other in the future.
Yes. Please do. If you make it up here to Michigan, to Detroit, please come reach out to me or whatever, and we can do lunch or something or whatever. I can introduce you to my husband as well. And next time we come down to Georgia, I'll let you know as well, give you a heads up and be like, hey, we'll be coming down to Georgia. Or if you don't come, I'm like, hey, I'm coming down to Georgia because I have some family down there as well.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Demetria.
Thank you so much, Asher. Thank you so much. And I'm grateful for you allowing me to be on your podcast today.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you. Bye. That's what I said. Bye.
Bye.
This is the It's My Time podcast with Asher Tchoua.